This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with a daily wrestling news update. I'm really getting sick of talking about the plane ride from hell. It's boring to me now. But Ric Flair put out another statement about it today, saying to clarify, and by the way, I'm quoting him on this. So, quote, to clarify, the helicopter, as it was called, is accurate. I wish I could blame it on youth, but it was a case of drinking too much and being inappropriate. I apologize for that and have countless times over the years. I condemn sexual assault in any way, shape, or form. I could and have written books, as have others, that have covered my transgressions. I've made some terrible decisions, but I've never forced myself on anyone in any way, period. End quote. So Ric Flair is admitting that he's done the helicopter trip on the plane ride from hell. And for anyone that doesn't know that, that's where I guess he gets naked, puts the robe on, opens the robe up, and spins his dick around like a helicopter. But he's denying, and I'll put this up again, these are actually the court documents, and this never went to court, so it's all hearsay. But these were the accusations, and Ric Flair was accused of actually, as we see here in Section C, defendant Flair grabbed plaintiff Doyle's hand and placed it on his crotch. One thing, and I'll mention it again because it keeps getting overlooked, in Section G, they did say defendant Runnels grabbed plaintiff Capelletano's arms repeatedly, asked if her breasts were real, and said, "You and me are going to fuck," and grabbed her rear end, rubbing his groin into her. So I guess this plaintiff, Capelletano, I don't know if she was on the dark side of the ring or not. Maybe it was the one flight attendant. But some fans were saying yesterday in the comments, "Oh, you're sticking up for Ric Flair, but you're trying to bash Dustin." No, I'm saying that documentary portrayed Dustin like, oh, the poor guy was heartbroken singing a love song to Terry Runnels over the airplane PA system, when in fact that wasn't all he did on the flight. According to the accusations, he was also accused of inappropriately grabbing a woman, which could be considered sexual assault. And again, this is all hearsay. There was no criminal charges filed. There was no criminal charges made. There was no civil decision made. It was settled. Nothing was proven in court. I'm not saying stuff didn't happen. It's clear this was a terrible flight from a flight attendant's perspective, but it is all hearsay, as they chose not to take it to court. They can make up any excuse they want, but had they wanted to, they could have filed criminal charges for such serious accusations, and they didn't. And Tommy Dreamer was pretty much destroyed and lost at least 2 jobs, has been suspended from 2 jobs over bringing up that this woman never pressed charges, basically. But he did also defend Flair. I'm not defending anybody. I'm saying that type of behavior is bad, but it happened 20 years ago, and nobody actually finalized anything in court about it. So it's unfortunate. And why do I bring up the Rhodes thing? Because I don't think it's fair that they went off on Flair on the documentary and Scott Hall as well, but they gave Dustin Runnels a pass on the groping of the flight attendants They didn't want to cover that. They just wanted to make it seem like, oh, he's the poor heartbroken guy singing. Now, is that because Dark Side of the Ring works closely with AEW and he has a good position in AEW? Who knows? But it wouldn't surprise me if at least Ric Flair sues Dark Side of the Ring over that documentary. Rob Van Dam also made a statement on Twitter, made a couple statements on the documentary that he was part of. He said, quote, "I haven't seen Ric Flair's dick," end quote. He said in another post responding to someone who asked if he saw Rick grab the flight attendant Heidi Doyle's hand and force her to touch his genitals. He said, quote, "I can confirm I didn't see that and I didn't say that. Creative editing will have people hearing it different ways," end quote. So there's no question that Dark Side of the Ring did do some creative editing on that, but I'm sick of talking about it. I'm just reporting it because it's in the news, but I'm really sick of reporting on it. I will get into the other news now. Raw last night did a 0.49 rating. Triple H made the first statement since his cardiac event, whatever the hell a cardiac event is. He said, quote, "I've been blown away by the outreach and support from so many people," end quote. TMZ has reported that Daphne Shannon Spurl, or I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her last name, her death certificate confirms that she died via a gunshot wound to the chest. Sad situation with Daphne. Tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m., I am going to be doing an interview with one of my trainers for pro wrestling, Jacques Rougeau, the Mountie, who is a former WWE Intercontinental Champion and numerous time WWE Tag Team Champion. He actually is one of the few people to have pinned both Hulk Hogan and Bret Hart. He is starting a new show called Wrestling Academy, and he's looking for wrestlers to participate in the show. He's had a lot of responses so far from Quebec, but he's looking for wrestlers from other places to apply to be on this Wrestling Academy show. He's looking for the best independent wrestlers. So we're going to find out more about this show tomorrow morning at 8:30. And if you want to apply, go to jacquesrougeau.ca and fill out the application form. Someone saying hello. Bill, I'll be able to go to Wichita because I'm flying to Wichita. It makes no sense that the rules for travel right now, Americans can travel to Canada if they're vaccinated and have a COVID test that shows they don't have COVID. Canadians can travel to the US via flying but can't drive. So the reason I could not cover the Philadelphia event at the ECW Arena last weekend was because I was planning on driving because it was a short drive for me. And to get a flight at the last minute just wasn't in my budget. And I do not have like a closest relationship with Battleground Championship Wrestling as I do with World Class Pro Wrestling. So that's the other reason. World Class Pro Wrestling, for one thing, they let me post all the matches from their events on the Hannibal TV, where Battleground Championship Wrestling was only going to let me post one of the matches. So it's worth the flight for that reason. Speaking of World Class Pro Wrestling, December the 11th at Southern Junction in Irving, Texas, the Blood Hunter will be facing none other than Carlito. The Von Erich boys are going to be on that event. Mick Foley is going to be there. QT Marshall is going to be there. Fuego del Sol is going to be there. It's going to be a huge card. And starting in December, World Class Pro Wrestling will be doing tapings in Southern Junction every single month. And it was announced that Kevin Sullivan and Eric Embry are going to be the bookers for World Class. So that's pretty exciting.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month.